crap, is that a shiny?
Oh, no, sorry, I just have a flat tire. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Shinies don't normally change shape. Though I appreciate you being excited about me. I'm not really anymore. Oh, it's not your fault. I'm just gonna go to the repair shop then. All right, and have a nice day.
Ladies, gentlemen, and trainers of all ages, I hope you're having a lovely holiday season, and my gift to you today is knowledge. Pure knowledge! Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have been out for over a month now, and in that time, players have absolutely absorbed this game. From day one until now, there have been millions of people playing this game every single day, combing it for every last little bit of enjoyment that they can get from it, and yet even after all this time, there are things about the game that not a single player knows. And so today, I'm going to be going over another 6 things that you didn't know about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and if you haven't been with us for one of these before, this is essentially just a fun vehicle for tips, tricks, or even just acknowledging fun little details about the game that you have probably never heard before. The goal of this series is simply to share fun and or helpful things with everyone, and try to spread useful information out further into the community, and so without further ado, let's begin with our first entry. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, trainer battles are quite different to how they've been in the past. Most specifically, you aren't forced into them upon locking eyes with each other, and thus you can sort of pick and choose whether you want to actually battle these trainers out in the overworld. Of course, they have offset this by adding more rewards for trainer battles, where if you defeat enough trainers in each area, you get a little present, but for the most part, there is no actual need to do these most of the time. However, a new function in this game that has never been in a previous game before, that you may not well be aware of, is the ability to leave a trainer battle. In previous games, when you were in combat with a human instead of a wild Pokemon, you couldn't simply walk away. You had to either win or lose, but in Scarlet and Violet, for whatever reason, they decided to give you the ability to run when you're fighting another trainer. It isn't as clean as running from a wild Pokemon, it still counts as a lost fight. You give them some money and you respawn at the nearest Poke Center as if you'd lost, but this is new, unlike previous games, and interesting enough, I thought it'd be fun to share. It is worth noting though that this doesn't apply to more set fights like gym leaders or the Academy Tournament. Those you're still stuck in for the long haul even if you accidentally entered with nothing but your level 1 Growlithe. Whoops. Next, let's move on to many trainers' favorite pastime, shinies, and I have 2 different shiny-based tricks for you today, both originally found by a YouTuber named Sukaru. Specifically, they are 2 different spots where you can farm different Pokemon shiny forms in a very easy manner. First up, let's talk about Cyclizar. If you go to the northern side of Levincia, there is a cliff right here near the Pokemon Center. If you eat a dragon sandwich so you have the encounter and sparkling buff, and then stand right next to this tree, Cyclizar will start to spawn in absolute bunches right in front of you. Cyclizar are interesting Pokemon, as they are based off of a motorcycle. Essentially, from the moment they spawn, they don't really stop running, and that actually plays to our advantage in this situation. The game will always do its best to put 15 Pokemon in your pop-in range at any given moment, and with this corner of the hill being the only spot that Pokemon can spawn in this hill, and Cyclizar being the only dragon Pokemon that spawns in this area, what we've created is a never-ending Cyclizar mill. They will run off of the hill or far away, out of your pop-in range on their own, and so all you have to do is stand there and keep an eye out for that rare yet beautiful shiny spawn. The efficient way to do this is with your camera up so that the Cyclizar don't engage in combat with you, because otherwise they're just random running paths will hit you. But if you are in the camera, then they can't actually start a battle. This way you can just keep your eyes peeled on the spawn spot, watch one spawn every 2.5 seconds or so, and then when the shiny appears, jump off of the camera and immediately run after it. Job done, easy shiny. You know, as long as you don't have it run off of the cliff and then panic and forget you can physically throw a Pokeball at it. Why do I suck?
Whoa, sweet bike. You can have it!
As I said before though, that's not the only shiny tip we have for you today, because there is also a spot where you can easily guarantee yourself a Shiny Applin. If you head to Tag Tree Thicket, specifically this spot here where there are 2 trees beside the entrance to the Team Star base, you'll notice tons of random Pokemon spawning in, of course. However, as usual, we'll be creating an isolated encounter chance by using a shiny sandwich, and again we're going to make a dragon sandwich. When you do this, the only Pokemon that will spawn nearby are Applin, but this specific spawn makes this a full-on AFK Shiny farm, which is pretty neat and excessively convenient. For this to work as a fully AFK method, you will need your lead Pokemon, the one that will go into Let's Go mode, to be either extremely tall or floating quite high in the air. Miraidon is a great option, though any one of a similar height will work exactly the same way. Then you ram your bike into this tree by sprinting while mounting, and it will knock an Applin out. Spawn out your party leader in Let's Go mode to fight it, then stand far back enough that there is enough space for spawns, and due to the height of your Pokemon, as new Applin spawn within the tree on that branch, they will forcibly fall level out and then be killed by your Let's Go Pokemon. Occasionally this can break a little bit and you'll have to reset it, but for the most part this is just a fully working AFK Shiny farm, as all you have to do is stand there while your Pokemon does the work for you. And of course, don't worry, Pokemon in Let's Go mode cannot kill a Shiny. So if you see your Pokemon stop fighting, either that means that there is a Shiny on the ground, or it just needs a little bit of a reset from you bopping the tree with your face once again. Another easy, practically free Shiny Pokemon. Worth noting that at this point there are about 15 spots like this for different Pokemon that basically let you AFK farm their Shiny version, so chances are pretty high that we will find loads more in the future, which means in a few months it's entirely possible you'll be able to AFK farm for most of the Shinies in the game. Next up is just a neat little traversal detail you probably haven't heard of before, but once you have finished the story of the game and properly unlocked Area 0 as a zone, you actually don't have to go to the Zero Gate itself to enter the area. While this is where you are expected to go to enter, Game Freak actually had an understanding of their own traversal mechanics. By this point in the game, you will have unlocked the climb ability for your Legendary and Travel mode, and so you can climb pretty much any cliff that you can see. This, of course, includes all of the cliffs bordering Area 0, and so you can actually quite easily climb up to the top from anywhere along the cliff line and then, well, jump in. When you hit the clouds below, it'll just teleport you into Area 0. Neat, huh? Well, as if it wasn't enough on its own, weirdly, Pokemon will also still spawn on the high-up cliff line here, and they don't exactly function their normal way. As you can see by this Garchomp just doing fun aerial loops around a cliff. I knew Garchomp could fly, theoretically, but I've genuinely never seen it in a Pokemon game until this exact moment, and oh, it's funny the way it interacts with the area it's in. After that, let's talk a little bit about Tera Raids, but not just any Tera Raid. Specifically, let's talk about the event raids. Whether it be the fancy 7-star Charizard raids that we got throughout December, the rewarding Delibird raid that we've got going on for the holiday season, or the upcoming 7-star Cinderace event in the near future, you have probably reached a moment where you're bummed out that they have a limited timer. Yes, you can reset them and do as many of them as you want within the time limit that they're available, but they're only up for a short few days, and after that, they disappear, never to return, unless they decide to bring them back. But what if you wanted to keep one of these Tera Raid events up forever? What if you just really like beating the crap out of this one specific raid for all the goodies that you get on the reward screen? Well, you can actually control that yourself. Quite simply, the solution to this is don't connect the Pokemon game to the internet. The game very specifically starts in offline mode every time you launch it, and you have to actively press a button in the menus to connect it to the internet. But if you don't do that, then the game doesn't know what day it actually is, and as a result, you could still be doing the Charizard raid today if you really wanted to, if you had not gone online since the last time you did it. The downside to this is, of course, that you don't get access to online functionality as long as you keep it up, but it's a neat little tip if you want to do this one specific thing. Then finally today, I just wanted to talk about a little fun detail that totally changes my opinion of a Pokemon. Skeledirge. When I first saw this Pokemon as the final stage evolution of Fuecoco, I was definitely a bit disappointed, maybe more than a bit. I mean, going from one to the other is just such a significant change, and I think it could have been done much better. However, this little tidbit from a tweet by Dande reveals something clearly intended by the developers. Skeledirge's head is like a stage in a stadium. The little panels are like the seating areas, there are pyrotechnics provided by, well, the never-ceasing flames coming out of his own head, and the performer is the little fiery bird that sits on front of his maw. This makes even more sense when you consider his signature move is called Torch Song, and to do this attack, he fires out the fiery little bird at the other Pokemon, who is clearly implied to be the singer at this performance. I love this. I still think the rest of his design could have been a bit more Fuecoco-y, at least, but I really like the way that they've done this tiny little bit and thematically tied it all together in a neat little bow. It's quite fun. That'll do it for today, everyone. Another 6 things that you didn't know in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you have any more things like this that you think should be shared with the community, feel free to put them down in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully you've learned at least a couple of new things about the game that you didn't know before watching this. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.